Hey guys, Luke's here from Richard Surplus, and today we're going to go over the basic internals for an IFAK and the kind of things you need for an individual first aid kit if you're out and about in the mountains with a gun, you're shooting, or if you're LARPing around, or if you have the range, stuff like that. Stuff that's good to have on you and how to build that up. We're not going to go into uses and how to use it, because you should seek proper medical training for using any of this, not just me on YouTube. And make sure you get training if you're going to buy that stuff. So yeah, let's take a look at it. Okay, so basic items for an IFAK. Again, we're going to reiterate, make sure you know how to use these. If you're going to have these in your kit, make sure you know how to use these, because if you have them, don't know how to use it, you could be just fumbling around, you could use it wrong and all that jazz. So you don't want to do that. So get training, go find a local area that has a class on this and learn how to use it before you really buy it. So first off, kind of one of the most essential parts of any trauma-oriented IFAK, if you're going to the range or around guns in general, a tourniquet is probably about as basic as you're going to get. So a tourniquet allows you to stop, massive hemorrhage type bleeding on extremities, your arms and legs. So that way you can control that bleeding and then go from there treating with other supplies you have. So there's a bunch of different tourniquets out there. I'm going to recommend off the bat, the North American Rescue Cat Gen 7s. We carry those, but these are used all around the world, and make sure you're buying a real one when you buy it, like from us. We get them straight from North American Rescue, and because there's tons and tons and tons of fakes out there, and you don't want to have a fake when it really matters. So yeah, tourniquets is the most basic form of, most basic thing you have in your IFAK, and having more than one of these is never a bad idea. Having one in your IFAK, one in a random place in your kit, 2 to 3, you're not going to, be sad at the end of the day. So next kind of thing you want to have in your kit is, this is a quick clot, so the hemostatic gauze. So what the hemostatic gauze does is on your extremities and other places as well, you can control that massive hemorrhage type bleeding and get that under control, get that bleeding controlled, and now you're kind of in a better spot to go from. Not going to fix you necessarily, but in a better spot. So quick clots are, again, like the tourniquets I showed, these ones are used all across the world by the U.S. military. Every IFAK pretty much has this in there. So you can't go wrong with the quick clot, because it's just it does what it needs to do very well, very simply. It's not hard to use at the end of the day. Next kind of things you want in your IFAK is some type of emergency bandage. Now I have a 4-inch and a 6-inch Israeli. These are, again, like everything else I showed so far, used all across the U.S. military and across the world. So these are the emergency bandage. It allows you to, if you have heavy bleeding, severe bleeding, anywhere like that, you apply a tourniquet, you apply your gauze, your hemostatic agent, this on top of that, or even if you don't need those agents on there, this allows you to help control that bleeding with pressure. So a 4 or 6-inch, depending on, kind of your need, is, going to set you up for success. So yeah, emergency bandages of some type, all sorts of brands out there, all sorts of different kind of styles, but in general, an Israeli is going to get you where you need to go. Next little things is just some standard gauze. So this gauze will allow you to, maybe you don't need a hemostatic agent, or it's bleeding's not really severe. Maybe you just need to bandage something really simply. Gauze is going to help you do that. And having 1 to 2 pieces of gauze in your kit, in your IFAK, doesn't take up a whole lot of space and allows you to do a lot of things. So if you have a scuff, scrape, these are really good for it. Next kind of thing you want in your kit is just some tape, some medical tape. Now this allows you to really use this really well and simply, tape and some gauze. That's about as simple as it gets when it comes to treating any sort of scruff and scrape. But yeah, so tape, that just helps you hold down other things as well. Another thing to keep in your kit is a chest seal of some sort. Now this one definitely gets some training on chest seals, as with everything else, because this is for a little more serious stuff. You're going to use a chest seal. So don't just go out there throwing chest seals on everything, or carrying around like everything else if you don't know how to use it. But a chest seal is good for especially gunshot wounds in general, or puncture wounds, stuff like that. So chest seal, all sorts of different types. Hyphen Vent has their compacts, their standard size, all that jazz. So you can get it tailored down to what needs to be in your kit. Last good thing to have in an IFAK, and then just in general on your kit as well, is a pair of trauma shears. So trauma shears allow you to cut through clothing, pretty much any level of clothing, jeans, thick jackets, canvas, the straps on your kit, seat belts, pretty much anything you can think of. A brand new pair of shears will cut through it. They'll cut through thin sheet metal as well. So these little lightweight shears that don't look like a whole lot at the end of the day are going to cut through what you need to cut through if you need to access a wounded area. So yeah, those are all just basic items to keep an IFAK. Again, I don't want to go into the uses because you should seek proper medical training, get training on that and how to use it so you're competent and not just learning from the internet, man. But yeah, those are basic items to keep in there. You can change it up, get the brand you want, all that. Big thing to watch out for is expiration dates. So I will say that. So if you're going to buy medical supplies, expiration dates vary wildly. If you go to direct to the manufacturer, places like us where we get them straight from the manufacturer, we're able to keep furthest out almost possible expiration dates on the medical items, and you want to make sure it stays that way because once you buy it, if you don't use it, you want to make sure it's good for as long as possible. Expired medical supplies can lead to issues, but they're good for training. So if you do find expired medical supplies and you want to get some training or use them for training after you go to training, that's a good way to go because they're going to be a little cheaper usually, and you can use them repeatedly without worrying about it because that's a good way to train is with the real thing. So hey guys, hope you enjoyed this quick informational video for the kind of things to have in an IFAK. Make sure you have VintageTriples.com. We got pretty much all these that I've shown. We get them in all the time. We're restocking constantly, getting different variations of each. And so you can build it up, get your IFAK filled up, and you're good to go.